Hello. So we're going to start. I already have this here while I was trying to get the lessons done, but we would start all over again. So I would have to possibly take all this off. Yes, 7 notes. Then we'll start all over again. Yeah. So welcome to my class. My name is Aiken, and I'm here to teach you a little bit of concepts of networking, but today we'll be talking about inter-vlan routing. So, what do you need as a prerequisite for this course? Not much, but you should have studied what a VLAN is because we might not be discussing that. But what we want to do on this course is to see how traffic has been sent from one VLAN to another, and traffic being sent on the same VLAN and traffic being sent in different VLAN. So we're going to start by using the switch, and we'll have to put in two end devices. That's one, two, two. So we'll be putting this PC1 and 2 into VLAN 10. So, right. So we're gonna be using GNS3 for this purpose. If you don't have GNS3, please try to download GNS3 and get the images of what we're using here. And you can also do this practice with your packet tracer. It's going to work as well. So put this as VLAN 10. So we would also get another. You can always duplicate. PC3 is going to be in VLAN 2. And also we have another switch to demonstrate how you could also send traffic from one VLAN to another same VLAN on a different layer 2 device. I could use that as L2 switch, but let's continue using this one. Now I would use this for consistency, and I will also put one more router here, switch here. Okay, we don't need this one. Yes, sir. Good. So this is also going to be in VLAN 10 but on a different switch. So it's better if I extend it. Yeah. Let me use 03 here. Good. So for the purpose of the VLAN demonstration, I need to put this also just to make it look nicer, right? No, don't need that. So So I'm gonna write VLAN 20. To the configuration I expect. So we'll open the switch. Yes, so I want to rename the switch. I don't like this long name. And we'll do that to this as well. Yes. So now we'll try to open the switch one, start it up, and start this one up as well. We might not need it now, but we'll start it up. Technically, start up all the devices. Technically. So the next step will be going into the configuration. Yeah. We have to wait for this to load up. I'll do that again. Good. So I would try to put it on one side so everything could become more visible to us as well. And I might need to get this to one more side. Yes. Better this way. Hmm. Okay, so for a switch, as you can see, whenever it's being plugged in, the interfaces should go up. Enable config tab, host name, switch 1. Just switch. Okay, switch 1. So show IP interface. Do show IP interface brief. As you can see, we're actually in the global mode. So you have to put a do for you to be able to see that. And if you want to check that in the regular mode, it's show IP interface brief. You don't need a do. As you can see, we have ports up already. 0/1/0, 0/0, 0/1, and 0/2, as well as 1/0. So for now, we would put PC1 and 2 on interface GI 0/0, 0/1. We have to put that in VLAN 10 range. You can do it separately, and you can as well do it this way. So switch port access VLAN N. So it's going to tell you it doesn't exist. It creates it for you. And you can see switch port mode access. Right. So you don't need this command because you already put it into access port, but we just try to make sure that you know it's actually on access port. So exit. You will already see VLAN 10 is on that the port 0/0 and 0/1. So now on the second part of it, this is on the same switch already with PC1 and PC2. So I'm gonna put it on VLAN 20, right? And we'll see if we're gonna be able to ping PC3. switch port access VLAN 20. The same applies, switch port mode access exit. So now PC3 VLAN 20, PC1 and 2 are both in VLAN 10. So we will not work on the second switch yet. So let's put an IP address on this end devices. So this is actually a different type of PC, which might not be very much used to if you're not using GNS3. So for GNS3 purposes, you can also use a packet tracer for this. All you have to do is configure your packet tracer. I'm now going to put a DHCP on this switch because it's actually capable of being configured a DHCP server because it has L3 functionality. But to keep this course simple, we will be putting static IP on this end device. So to do that, IP 192.168.10.2. Then we can do /24. I will do /24 for this, and I will do it in a different way on the next device. You can also say 192.168.10.2, 255.255.255.0. Right, but in this case, I'm not doing that, but I'm going to do it on the next one for you to know it's the same. That's an IP. So for this one, like I said earlier, I'm going to do it differently. 3. Still the same results because this still means /24. I'm giving it a gateway because we're eventually going to end up with routing. Not now, but I'll tell you when we need that. Okay. All right. So now we have our pieces assigned with an IP address. So let's quickly test connection to both of them. We're able to ping through, as you can see. So pinging through the same VLAN could be done when you actually put both of them into the same VLAN and assign an IP address to them. And I'm also going to test one more thing for you guys here. It also works. Yeah. So again, I'm going to do something again for you guys to see. Number one, they are in the same subnet. They are in the same VLAN. If a VLAN is actually not involved, when they are in the same subnet, one thing I'm going to let you know is on a switch, every port is assigned to VLAN 1. So by default, all of these ports are in VLAN 1. So when you segment them, take them from VLAN 1, then you have to make sure that whatever ports that's going to communicate with other ports has to be in the same VLAN. There's also some other configurations of native VLAN. So this is a situation where different VLANs might still possibly talk to each other depending on their configurations. We will not go into that at this moment because we're talking about just the VLANs in the same devices in the same VLAN and devices in different VLAN on access ports for now. So let's try to give this a different IP address on the same VLAN and see what's going to happen. For this purpose, I'm not going to be putting a gateway ID, a gateway address for now. So let me just say 30.1. So in this case, let's see the behavior. So we still ping the same thing. you can see it cannot go through. So you have to be on the same subnet at the same time on the same VLAN for you to be able to ping through, right? So we'll return this back to the regular that we had before. So now pinging is possible. So if you want to do what we need to do for the routing for VLAN in a, let's say, in 10 to be able to ping 20, then you would definitely need a routing. Yeah. So again, if you want to ping the same VLAN, if you want to ping devices of the same VLAN but on a different layer 2 device, then you cannot carry it via an access port, right? Then you have to specify, you have to do a trunk port. This is what carries a tagged frame. When you when you configure this interface as trunk, and this interface as trunk, when you're sending a tagged frame for VLAN 10 over this trunk, it's going to be easy for the switch to understand what frame you're sending, and it's going to deliver it to the correct frame. That's why we need to get that done. But before we do that, I'm going to show you that it doesn't work. This is in VLAN 10, as you can see. We're gonna assign this port to VLAN 10. I'm sorry, let's do that. I will do that right now and we'll see. Okay, let's do that first. Regular host name switch to, yes, so interface GI0/3 switch port access VLAN 10. Yes, created a VLAN 10 on it. Exit. So we didn't do anything on the interface, the entry interface, 1/0 on both switches, and let's see what happens. PC4. Okay. Now you already know how to put an IP address on this switch. So I'm still gonna give it I'm gonna give it 10.7. Yes. Okay. So let's ping. You see, it's not gonna be able to go through. Right. Because when you are connecting two switches together, two layer 2 devices together, you have to, and you want to send via, if you want to send anything via VLANs, then you need a trunk port. As you can see, let's say, let's try one more thing quickly. I'm gonna delete this later on, but it's just for you to understand. So let me duplicate this quickly. To duplicate, error duplicating because it's turned on. Yeah, I see. Let me turn it off quickly. Right, and I'm gonna put this out of VLANs. Duplicate. And I'm gonna duplicate one time. Duplicate. Good. So let's put this here, all still in VLAN 10. Yeah. So one of the different ports, which is not for a VLAN. So we can choose 3/0 on this side, and we can also choose 3/0 on this side. Start, start, start. believe you're still, I believe you do understand what I'm doing. If you have a question, you can always write that in the comment section, and I'll be able to help you with that. So let's see. This is actually on a regular port, which is going to be VLAN 1 access port. This is going to be on an access port, and we are not changing anything, right? And it's not going to be on a VLAN, right? So, yeah. So we would give it an IP address. Sorry. Just an IP address. In PC5, just an IP address. Oh my goodness. Okay, good. Okay, so we can ping, you see, we're able to ping that because it's not on a VLAN and we don't need any special configuration for it to work, right? But when you're dealing with VLANs, then for you to be able to ping through across two devices, two layer 2 devices, then we're gonna do this configuration and let's see now. So I'm taking this out and also taking this out. Okay, now so for us to be able to ping the same VLAN on two different switches, the configuration needed is this. Switch 1, interface GI1/0, switch port trunk encapsulation dot. I'm not going to put it first, let's see. Mode trunk, you will see this that comes out. Yeah. So for you to be able to configure that command on that port, you have to do switch port trunk dot 1q. So you have to put it in a mode that is ready. A trunk mode is a mode where you could pass through, you could actually send tagged VLANs via the port. Yes, so now it's ready. So the second part definitely is going to be having some porting consistency in a way, but we're not showing that. And exactly most of the time that happens also if, let's say, native VLAN here is different from the native VLAN here, you also have some native VLAN inconsistency message. So at this moment we have to make sure both are in the same both are in trunk mode. So that's it. So give me seconds, I'm almost completing that. So on the switch 2, yeah, interface GI, we'll do the same thing. Yes, switch port mode trunk. So now let's see what happens here. Let's try to ping PC4 now. What is PC4's address? Oh, we have to do it again. Okay, IP 192.168.10. Let me say 9 because we already took that out. Okay, so ping. Previously, we were not able to ping this part, remember? Now you're able to ping through because it's actually sending uh, the tagged traffic. Let's turn this off. Okay, so we're able to successfully ping through. So that shows that you definitely need to um, get a trunk port between both layer 2 devices. Yeah. So one more thing I want to show you is even if you're on the same VLAN, but if you're not on the same subnet, you would not be able to ping each other as well. So I'm going to change this IP to, let's say, 30, right? And let's see if we can still ping through. Now it's telling you no gateway found because it's actually talking about routing at this moment. So I'm going to put a gateway, but that's not going to do anything. Um, yeah, so at this moment, on this, they're in the same VLAN, right? Because it's in VLAN 10, you're still not going to be able to ping through, right? So that's for that. Even if I did put a gateway through on PC1, that's not going to work. So the thing we need right now is for us to be able to ping through VLANs, the same VLAN but different subnets, then we would need a router, right? But at the same time, we're not going to do that at the moment, but let's focus more on inter-VLAN routing. Then we'll also test connectivity on this router when we are done with routing. Yeah, but the trouble is going to be when we're trying to put sub interfaces on on the router that we will be using, then um, this is going to be per VLAN. So in this situation, there is not going to be there's not going to be a way for us to put a gateway 30.1 on the router for a different VLAN. You know, for VLAN 10, we should have a gateway of 10.1. I'm going to show you everything, but I just want to tell you first. Yeah, we'll have a 10.1 gateway on the router for VLAN 10, and this is going to be on VLAN 10. So we're going to be using the same router. So if we have a different subnet on this VLAN, then we will see what I have to do to be able to get it working. But I do believe that that's not going to work. So let's just do, the realistic part of the lab. So we have to put a router now. I prefer to use this router, a little bit more stable for me. So we put it in. Would you use 0/3 for this? Oh, that's fine. Okay, so start. So open this router. Yeah. So there's one more thing we didn't do yet. I have to put an IP address on this, and we can test connectivity, which I know is not going to work, but that's why we're doing this lab. So IP address. Oh, am I doing this? I keep doing this all the time. I'm sorry, guys. 20.2/24 Good. So for you to check the connectivity, you can say IP address, sorry, show IP, and it shows you what you have. Right. So um, that's what we have here. So on this router, no shot. Okay, good. So on this switch, going to the router, you also need some configuration on that. It has to be trunk port as well for it to work. Even, what we'll be doing, I will be purposefully omitting these things and you will see by yourself if it works or not. Then we correct it. Sometimes this is the best way to learn. So PC3, let's ping VLAN 10. We're not able to get through. For sure, no, we're not able to get through. Good. So we will not also be able to get through from VLAN 2, for example, to wherever we want to go. Same thing. So now switch. I want to do something. I want to intentionally not do any configuration on switch 1. I just want to go straight away to router 1. Right. So you have to configure as a sub interface. If you're not configuring a sub interface, you might put like multiple interfaces here, which is actually not practical. So interface FA 0/0.10. We just do this for us to be able to track where we have the VLAN. You can do 0.01, 0.100, 0.2000, but we're gonna do .10 for us to know this is the port which is gonna carry traffic from VLAN 10. So again, wait, I'm gonna do this IP address, and you're gonna see an error just now. So the same. So for you to be able configuring IP routing on a LAN subinterface is allowed if the subinterface is already configured as part of .iq. 82.10, IAE 1.1q, or ISL VLAN. So we're going to be choosing .1q here. Now, you have to put the VLAN number. This is very important. You cannot put something else. Here has to be the VLAN number. The VLAN ID we're using here is 10. So now you can put the IP address. Now it's up. Right. Excellent. Put it in mind that I'm intentionally not doing something. So you will see that it's not going to work, and when we fix it, it's going to work. So we have VLAN 10. So at the same time, we also have to get VLAN 20 rolling. So we do VLAN 20 by this same command, but 20. So this time around, we already knew that that wouldn't work without this. So we have to put 20. Then IP address 192. Excellent. So now on the router, you can show IP interface brief to see the connected routes. Sorry. Right, you can see right now you have this on you have two sub interfaces that is carrying this stuff, and you can also test connectivity to both sub interfaces, which for sure is going to work. It's just on the same device. Oh, sorry, there's nothing like that. 20.1. You see, you try to ping 10.2 at the moment, it does not even work, and there is actually 10.2 on network, but I will tell you why that did not work. So we already have this. which makes sense, right? So now let's try to ping from PC1. No, that's the regular IP addresses. It's pinged in here. So that's not what I want to ping. So ping 192.168. Want to ping the gateway because look at it again. Show IP. You can see the gateway is standard 1 and you should be able to reach your gateway for you to be able to, you know, ping a different subnet. Because you're going to send the traffic to your gateway and your gateway is going to look into the routing table. Does it have the route of where you actually want to go to? Yes, it does. Then it's send it there. So, but if you cannot reach your gateway, then you cannot even do anything. You see, nothing works. Nothing works. Right. So in this case, it's actually sending a traffic and the switch is not recognizing the traffic because it's tagged. So it doesn't know where to go to. So now we'll have to fix that by configuring a trunk port on gigabit 0/3 on switch 1. You know how to do this already. Switch port trunk Q. Immediately when you're done with that, everything should work. So firstly, go to the router, wherever, just let's stay here, ping it out. Let's see what happens. Just let's see what's going on. We should be fine already, but just give you some time. Show IP. Yes, we have 10.1 and this 10.1 is on the VLAN. Let me go to the router as well to check. This is up, put up. This is strong, right? Show IP route. I hope, yes. So if it goes through, we should be fine. Right. So I'm trying to understand why the PC. Yes. So you're able to ping through. So sometimes this happens when you're sending a new a very first message. It goes through the app request and reply and tell. We could actually be seeing that via wire shark, but there's no reason to do that right now. So now that we're able to reach through the router, now let's try to go through 20.1 router itself. We're able to reach it now, and now let's go to 20.2, which is this one. Let's wait. We're able to reach through now. So we're able to have connectivity throughout this device via the router. So now one thing that we just want to see together. Now show IP on this. We know it's 30.9, 30.1, right? So the only reason why this is going to work is if it's not on a VLAN, because if I need to put an interface on this router for this subnet 30.1, if it's not you know on a sub interface and on a VLAN for a VLAN, then this might be useless because it's on a VLAN 10. So the only reason why this might work is if I put, let's say, IP address 192.168.30.1. Sorry. What am I doing? IP address sorry, and we have to define the interface first. Sorry. So we're gonna put out on interface FA 0/0. Okay, so if you show IP route is already connected, right? So even at this, you should not be able to ping. No, you can't because you're in a VLAN 10. So you see, even if you have the the gateway configured on this device, it's still not gonna make any meaning because you're on VLAN 10. It's still the same thing, you know. So yeah, escape route is equal to shift LS6. So if you need to know that. So the only reason why this might work is if, let's say, I cannot take this out and kind of put a different, put it in a different port. Like let's say I put it on a regular VLAN 1 port, right? And if I check, already have it, sorry. So PC4, let me still show if it's show. Oh no, PC4. So now you can ping it because it's out of the VLAN. So the purpose of this lab seems to be complete. So I will just give you a recap of what we've done. So basically we're trying to do inter-vlan routing, and I tried to explain to you that it's possible for you to ping through from PC1 to PC2, but you're not going to be able to ping from PC2 to PC3 without the router. Basically because when you send a frame via this switch from PC1 to PC3, it's not going to be able to tag the frame, right? Oh, sorry, if you're that's for this side. If you're doing that from PC1 to PC3, then the frame is going to be tagged, and whatever you're sending out, it has to be sent to a port that also has a VLAN 10. But basically, it has to be in the same subnet. That's the first thing you have to know. Then you have to now think about where are you sending it to. So that's why it does not work. So in that case, it doesn't know where to send the traffic or the frame. So also we said you can also not send traffic from VLAN 10 to VLAN 10 on a different switch if the interface port between switch 1 and switch 2 are in the access port. Because if they're in the access mode, then the tagged traffic would not be able to go through, because you're saying PC1 has .10 VLAN tag and you want to send it to .10 VLAN tag on another switch. So when it gets to the switch, it drops the traffic because it could not recognize, it could not be able to pass through this cable. Basically, if this is a trunk, then it's going to be able to pass through a tag VLAN to the second switch and understood where you're trying to send your frame. So when we configure both sides as strong port, we were able to send a ping to VLAN 10 here. Right. Also, we put in the router, and the router was able to help us with the forwarding traffic. Again, don't forget, we also configure a trunk port on interface 0/3 for us to be able to send this tagged traffic to router, right? So we're able to do what it, I don't know.